So this is a demo of how to use multi-user meetings for Flow Immersive. The first thing to do is actually go to the browser. It could be in your bottom bar or in your list of apps, and go to a.flow.gl. When you click into the URL bar, you can type that into the URL. Now, the person who's going to initiate the meeting needs to be a Flow registered user, and they need to be logged in. So I'm going to go ahead and click the login button in the upper right, and I'm going to pause the video while I log in. Okay, so I've entered my password, and I click login, and now it's going to take me to my personal workspace. Go ahead and launch the flow you would like to use for the meeting simply by clicking the flow itself. So now, before we jump into AR or VR, we need to start the meeting, and it's a little bit hidden here. You have to pull down the lower arrow on the right-hand side and click the meeting icon, and then select Start Meeting. And first thing it's going to do is going to ask us whether we want to be in use audio in the meeting or not. And since we're currently doing a Zoom call to get people started into this flow and they're using the audio in the Zoom, we're going to do it without audio. But with audio is, has Flow do its own multi-user audio inside the meeting. Now that we've started the meeting, we can actually see the meeting ID. And this meeting ID, you will go ahead and tell your other meeting attendees exactly this meeting ID. So Bill, who is going to join this meeting, takes his browser and goes to a.flow.gl, and he clicks the Meet button right next to the Flow logo at the top of the page. And he will type in the meeting ID exactly as I mentioned to him over the audio.
I entered that and I hit enter, or excuse me, I hit submit. Okay, it looks like I'm getting loaded into the meeting here.
So I can see that Bill is joined by selecting the little meeting panel, open that up, and I see his participant in there. He could have entered his name instead of using participant 1, it doesn't really matter. Now I'm going to jump into AR by clicking the AR button. And now I can see the content.
Right, and I've done that, and I am in the space right now.
So then I'm going to walk around my space so that I can be facing back at Bill. So we're seeing the same content at the same time. Bill can see my avatar, and I can see his laser pointer on his side. Now, since I'm in AR, I'm not seeing his avatar, but he's in VR, so he does see mine. And now the host of the meeting can advance through the steps, and everyone will see the same content. They can interact with the content, and those interactions are also visible to all users. So now assume that you've got multiple persons in the same room looking at the same content in AR, and you want the content to align. So let's position the content precisely. And once we select this button, we're going to select 2 points in the space. So after I hit begin, now I've got this line that's coming down from my controller, and I can see the height. So I'm going to set the height to 1 meter just by moving my arm up and down in space. Once I've done that, I have very precisely placed the content in the room, and each user should select the same 2 points in the same order, and the first selection is the center of the content, and the second selection is the direction the content is looking. But basically, if all the users hold out their controller and select the same 2 points in physical space in the same order, then their content will be aligned. They can do it with the position precisely, as I've shown, but they can also just point their controller at the floor and select 2 points on the floor, and that will also accomplish the same result. Finally, when you want to leave the AR or VR session, you click the Oculus button on your right controller, and it will open up main control panel where you'll hit quit. Feels a little strange to hit quit, because all you're actually doing is quitting the VR session, and it'll take you back to the browser screen. And that is how all the users can get together in a meeting in Flow in headset.